He snapped his fingers at the valet like he was calling a dog. "Try not to scratch it," he said. "This car costs more than your entire life." The valet just nodded. He'd heard that line before. He arrived like a storm. The glass doors of the upscale restaurant slid open, and a man stepped inside as if the entire world had paused just to admire him. His suit, custom Italian. His shoes, glossy enough to reflect the chandelier hanging 30 feet above. A heavy Rolex glinted under the chandelier lighting every time he moved his hand, and he moved it a lot, making sure everyone noticed. He walked toward the entrance, chin slightly lifted, shoulders pulled back with an air of entitlement so strong it felt like gravity shifted around him. He didn't walk into the restaurant. He occupied it. Outside, under the awning, a young black valet stood waiting in a perfectly pressed uniform. Steady posture, calm eyes, a polite but exhausted smile. His name tag simply read, Jalen. The wealthy man didn't even glance at it. Instead, without slowing down, without making eye contact, he tossed the keys in Jalen's direction, like someone throwing scraps to a dog. Jalen reacted quickly, catching the keys mid-air. They were heavy. A Ferrari key fob. Limited edition. The rich man pulled down his sunglasses and finally looked at him, but not like you look at a person. More like you look at an object. Rich man, voice dripping with arrogance. Careful with the leather. It's Italian. A couple standing nearby snickered, trying to hide their laughs behind their hands. Jalen nodded respectfully. Yes, sir. That was it. No irritation. No sarcasm. No emotion. He had learned that some people believe money gives them the right to talk to others like trash. And sometimes, the only winning move is not letting it touch your spirit. He slid into the driver's seat and took a moment. He inhaled. Exhaled. The leather really was expensive. Soft, buttery, immaculate. He drove the Ferrari to the reserved parking section, careful not to let the engine roar too loudly. The car was powerful and beautiful, but it wasn't the car that mattered. What mattered was how people treated each other. When he walked back, he returned to his station, folding his hands behind him the way the restaurant manager required. He stood tall, not because the job made him feel important, but because he valued himself, even when others didn't. Inside, through the glass walls, he could see the wealthy man sitting at a private corner table, laughing loudly, talking with big gestures, bragging. Everyone near him looked uncomfortable. Time passed. Slowly. Jalen continued working, greeting guests, opening doors, smiling politely even when people ignored him. It was part of the job. Part of being invisible. Finally, hours later, the man returned. He pushed open the restaurant doors, sunglasses back on, ego somehow even larger than before. He snapped a finger toward Jalen. Keys. Jalen handed him the key fob with both hands. Respect, professionalism, dignity. The rich man didn't even say thank you. Instead, he smirked. Maybe one day you'll have a car like mine. In your dreams. He said it slowly, enunciating each word, savoring the superiority. Jalen smiled, a calm, composed smile. Not fake. Not forced. Just knowing. Inside his pocket, his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen without pulling it out, one of the restaurant investors checking if he was done. They were waiting. The rich man slid into the Ferrari, revved the engine aggressively, and sped toward the exit, only to be blocked by a large black SUV pulling in. The valet podium phone rang. Jalen answered. Yes, he just arrived. The SUV door opened and a chauffeur stepped out, wearing a tailored black suit and white gloves. The chauffeur walked straight to Jalen, not to the rich man. Chauffeur, respectfully. Sir, your vehicle is ready. The rich man glanced back, confused. What? He's talking to him. Jalen didn't rush, didn't hurry, didn't explain. He simply walked past the Ferrari, past the rich man, and toward the SUV. The chauffeur opened the rear door, not the passenger door, not the front, the rear. Where owners sit. The wealthy man blinked fast, eyes darting between Jalen and the SUV. Jalen paused, one hand on the doorframe, and turned just enough so the rich man could hear him clearly. You should be careful how you treat people. Not everyone shows you who they really are. No anger. No malice. Just truth. The restaurant general manager stepped out behind him and added quietly, but loud enough. Mr. Harris doesn't work here. He owns the building. The rich man's sunglasses slipped down his nose. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. For the first time that night, maybe the first time in years, he was speechless. Jalen got in the back seat. The chauffeur closed the door gently and walked around the SUV. Before the vehicle pulled away, Jalen lowered the tinted window and gave one last, soft, genuine smile. Status can be temporary. Character is permanent. The SUV disappeared into the night. The wealthy man stood frozen beside his Ferrari, his confidence evaporating like exhaust smoke. Jalen didn't need the car, the suit, or the restaurant. He had something money couldn't buy. Self-respect. The rich man had one hand resting on the Ferrari roof, still wearing that smug victory expression, the kind that only appears after someone thinks they've just crushed another person's confidence. He was about to say something else, probably another insult, when a deep engine sound rolled through the driveway. A black SUV turned the corner. Not just any SUV. Matte black. Blacked out windows. The type of car you see CEOs step out of in movies. It stopped slowly, flawlessly aligned with the entrance. The doors didn't open immediately. There was a silence, a tension in the air, like the moment right before the orchestra begins. Then, the back passenger door opened. A chauffeur stepped out. Real chauffeur, white gloves, tailored suit, posture straight as a ruler. He walked around the SUV with purpose, not rushed, not hesitant. Every movement was precise. He didn't look at the rich man. He looked directly at the valet, the same young black man the rich guy had insulted minutes earlier. Chauffeur, professional tone. Sir, your vehicle is ready. The rich man's face changed, confusion replacing arrogance. He blinked. Once. Twice. Then he actually looked at the valet, as if noticing him for the first time. The valet, calm, composed, unbothered, didn't break eye contact. He walked past the Ferrari, past the rich man, and toward the SUV with slow, confident steps. He didn't rush. He didn't hurry to prove anything. He simply moved like someone who belonged. The rich man's voice cracked. Wait, sir. No response. The valet slid into the back seat of the SUV. Not the front. Not shotgun. The owner's seat. The chauffeur gently closed the door behind him. The Ferrari guy stepped forward, pointing at the SUV like his brain refused to process reality. What is happening right now? As if summoned by fate, the restaurant manager appeared beside him. She crossed her arms, watching the valet settle into the SUV. Manager leaned in, voice low but sharp enough to cut through ego. He doesn't work here. The rich man swallowed. Manager continued. He owns the building. The rich guy's mouth opened. Nothing came out. No words. No excuses. No arrogance. Just shock. Pure shock. The manager wasn't done. He comes here sometimes to remind himself where he started. He used to valet at this exact spot before he bought the entire block. The rich man stepped back like he'd been physically hit. The valet rolled down the tinted window, just enough for his face to be visible. He didn't shout. He didn't curse. He didn't gloat. He spoke with grace, the kind that destroys egos without raising volume. Valet. You should be careful how you treat people. Not everyone shows you who they really are. He didn't say it angrily. He said it gently, like wisdom, not revenge. dropped. The SUV pulled away smoothly, tires whispering against the pavement. The rich man was left standing in front of his Ferrari, a car that suddenly felt painfully small. His expensive watch couldn't hide what he lacked. Money had bought him style. But the valet had something far more valuable: character. The SUV merged into traffic and disappeared into the night. Calm, controlled, effortless. The rich man stood frozen beside his Ferrari, still holding the valet ticket like it was evidence of a crime. For the first time all evening, he wasn't talking. He wasn't boasting. He was thinking. All those insults, all that arrogance, aimed at a man who didn't need validation, because he already knew who he was. The camera closes in on the rich man's face. Narrator, quiet, powerful, almost a whisper. Remember, power doesn't always look loud. Cut to the valet's SUV gliding across the bridge. City lights reflecting off the windows. His face calm, unbothered, a man at peace. Narrator, be kind to people. Status can be rented. Character cannot. Pause. The screen fades to black. Then, the final line appears, clean and bold. Treat everyone like they matter, because one day, you'll wish you had. Micro pause. Narrator, gentle CTA, not pushy. If stories like this inspire you, tap like. And if you want more real-life lessons in humanity, hit subscribe.